to learn about double length sounds. What we will learn what the double length sounds are, and we will also try to understand the different ways that they may be written in the Holy Quran, and we will understand the correct length for pronouncing them and the importance of not accidentally shortening them. The double length sounds. The double length sounds make a one length sound into a two length sound. Okay, so what do we mean by that? So before we learnt our Arabic alphabet letters with the short sounds of Fatha, Kasra and Dhamma, and we know that they gave us the sounds of A, E, U, and all of those were very short sounds. Now the double length sounds actually make those A, E, U sounds go much longer, okay, or twice as long. And the first one that we have is if you have a letter which has Fatha and you add an alif to it, the sound of the Fatha goes from A, which is one long, to A, two long, so it doubles its length. Okay, and we would know that as Fatha Alif. Then if we have a letter with a Kasra and you add a Ya after it, the sound of the E changes to E, which is too long, so it doubles the length of the E sound, and that's known as the Kasra Ya. And the last one is if you have a letter with the Dhamma on top of it and you add a Wow after it, the sound of the U changes to Oo, too long, so it doubles the length of the U sound, and that is known as Dhamma Wow. So the double length sounds are Fatha Alif, Kasra Ya and Dhamma Wow, giving us the A, E, U sounds. Okay, so they all double up the length of the short sounds that we learnt before. Now we're going to look at why this is important to know what the short sounds are and the double sounds, and to know why you shouldn't mix them up. Okay, changing the length of a sound so that the meaning of what is recited is changed. So I'm going to give you a small example. So here we have a word which is Qa La. So the Qa is too long because it's a Fatha Alif, and then we have La. So the first one is too long and the second, the La, is one long. Now in Arabic that means he said. Now let's look at another word. So this is Qa La. So both of those were too long. They're both Fatha Alifs. Now that means those two men said. Okay, now if we go back to the first one, if you were to read that properly, it would be Qa La. Now if you accidentally, when you're reading your Quran, if you're not careful and paying attention to the lengths, you recited that first one accidentally as Qa La. So you just stretch the La a bit too long, so you make it twice as long. You change the meaning of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Holy Quran from he said to those two men said. So by not pronouncing the sounds with their correct lengths, you can change the meaning of what is recited. So one of the main skills that you must learn and you must pay a lot of attention to is the lengths of your pronunciation. You must not overstretch anything, and you must not shorten any length. What is too long must be pronounced as too long, and what is one long must be pronounced as one long. So this is one of the key skills you must have, and you must train yourself to do this correctly. Now if you do change the length of a word by mistake, this is known as a major mistake, so you're not allowed to do that. Now we'll look at where the sounds come from, and this is something that when you're learning your tajweed at a higher level, you have to understand where the sounds are coming from. But we're going to keep this nice and simple. All we need to know is that the fatha alif, if you were to say your air or the breath that is used to say travels all the way from the throat through the mouth and out through your lips, and it's the same as the kasra ya, if you say e. And for the dhamma wow, so if you say ooh, and the only difference is in the fatha alif, when you say your tongue goes a bit flat, and when you say the kasra ya, the e, you'll notice the middle of your tongue almost touches the top of your mouth, and when you say ooh, the back of your tongue goes up and your lips make a nice little round circle. But the main thing to know there is that the sound of all of these double length sounds is made by the air passing from the bottom of the throat through the middle of the mouth and out through the lips. Now we're going to look at some examples of fatha alif. So here we have the letter ba with fatha, and then we have an alif after it, and that's the same as all of these letters. So we're just going to practice pronouncing these all as two lengths long. So we've got ba, ta, tha, ja, ha, kha. One thing to also know is that there are different ways of writing the fatha alif. So under this column here we've got normal, so we have ma, and we also have wa and then la. So both the ma and the la are too long because they're fatha followed by the alif. Another way of writing it, here we have in the column which we've written alternative, which means another way. We have sa, ma, wa, tin. So the ma and the wa are both double length, they're too long. So if you look at the meme and the waw, they both have a fatha on top of them, plus they have this small little alif. It's called the short alif, or some people call it the dagger alif. And that's another way of writing the fatha alif. Now we'll look at examples